Hey everybody, welcome back to Christopher Farms. This is Chris. Doing a little specific video and amateur radio, not really a general amateur radio video. I'll try and get some of those up here after I get my high tunnel done. But this is a specific video about updating the user database in an Anytone radio. Probably applicable to all the radios that Anytone has, but mine is specifically, as you can see on the screen there, from the Bridgecom website, is an Anytone AT D878UV Plus. So I'm going to update the database on that and show you guys how it goes. Alright, so guys, welcome back. This isn't a typical video I've done recently on Christopher Farms. Mostly I'm doing some farmstead videos and stuff like that, but I am an amateur radio operator. You guys in the videos that are regular watchers have probably seen the antennas that I have up around and a little tower I've got next to the tiny house, and probably heard stuff in the background over my amateur radio. Try and throw up some amateur radio videos in general about what it is, getting your license and stuff like that once I get the high tunnel done. But this is more a specific video about programming, or not programming, but actually just updating the user database to these Anytone radios. So it might not be applicable to everybody, but hey, here it goes, and let's see if we can get this done. So I found out that, sort of should have figured this out or known this, but the user database that you see, or the user information you see on your Anytone radios, comes from a database that's actually held within the radio. The only thing the DMR system or network throws over to your radio is the DMR ID of the person that is keyed up and coming across your radio. Your radio takes that DMR ID and compares it to its internal database that has name and the city and whatever else information, and uses its internal database to show that information on the screen. And if that's not updated, you won't see the most current stuff. So every, I don't know, couple weeks, couple months, whatever. I mean, it doesn't hurt if you don't have an updated database. You'll still hear it, but you just might not see the most updated information. So I'm probably going to try and go in and update the database, every couple months. Whenever I, make changes to the radio, just make sure that I do this procedure, whatever. I don't know, it's up to you. But to get started, what you want to do is go over to radioid.net and log in. Your DMR user, you should probably already have a username password. If not, you'll need to set it up. And when you log in, it brings you up to your details. Just make sure that's up to date, because that's what feeds into the database that we're going to pull down here. This information is all correct for me, so I'm good to go. So I want to go over to the left in their little menu section here and click database. That brings up an area where you could search for specific users or whatever. That's not what we want. Go back over here to the left and click on data dumps, and that'll pull up all the files they have. We're specifically looking for the user.csv file. It's about 10 megs, about 9.8 specifically on the download, and it looks like it was updated this morning, so they must do a daily update on that. So click on that, and that's going to pull up that. Yep, I'm going to save it, and it's going to go over to my downloads folder. Now, from there, you could go over and open it up with OpenOffice Calc or that other data spreadsheet program by the big company in the sky, or whatever. No need to do that. It's sort of interesting to look at. There's about 170,000 DMR IDs listed in there, so it's sort of interesting to look at. You can look yourself up in there, whatever. Not going to do that here for the sake of time. So once you get that downloaded, jump over to your software. I've already got it opened here. It's the beginning of August. Version 1.18 is what we have. And this is the settings for my radio. Typically when I open this up, I've got my radio plugged in, it's turned on, and the USB cables. Typically I'll pull off a copy of the code plug from the radio, because I'll get in there and I'll make tweaks and changes and do whatever, but I just recently did that. I'm not going to do that now. So I need to import that user database that I just pulled down. So I'm going to click on Tool and then click Import, and that pulls up screen here. Doesn't quite fit on my monitor, but what I'm looking for is digital contact list. I click on it, and then I click on that file that I just downloaded, and it displays that path right there. Not done yet. So need to pull the bottom of the screen up. Important here, click on import, don't click on close, because you haven't imported this into the software yet. This just brings it over to the software. So this will come up, we'll get a little circle of infinity here while it thinks about it. There it is. There's the old circle of infinity. So it'll do that. Good time to take a coffee break, walk the dog. No, it's not really that long. It'll come in here pretty quick. There we go. Import complete. Click OK. So it's not in the radio yet. It is in the software. And so what we want to do is come over here and hover over our little arrow pointing to the radio and get the pop-up window that says write to radio. Click on it and write data to radio. Do you wish continue? Somebody doesn't speak English very well. Yes, I do. Click OK. So I don't want the other data. That's the code plug. So I'm not going to send that over. I'm going to send over the digital contact list. Click OK, and COM port's correct. It goes through this display 3 times. The first one's the quickest. This one is pretty slow. The third one is, oh my gosh, how long is this going to take? It's a good time to walk the dog, work some DX, I don't know, figure out a new language, or maybe just crack a beer. So we'll let this work through that, and when we get done, I will come back and show you guys how it went. Alright, we're about 94% and 95%, so I've had 3 birthdays, and we've spun around the sun 3 times. Just kidding. It seems like it takes forever. Well, it does take forever, but there's a lot of data getting pushed into the radio. So there, completion 100%. We got write data completed. The radio's powering off, resetting, all that good stuff that it needs to do. And so now I will have the latest database in my Anytone radio, and everything will be kosher once the folks start transmitting. So that was it. If you're interested in more stuff like this, or farmsteading or whatever, please pound that subscribe button. If you click the bell button, you can get updated whenever I post a new video. Lots of stuff I put up is just sort of a farm vlog, what's going on around the property, stuff like that. I got a high tunnel I'm getting finished, and other stuff. I do want to do more amateur radio videos. I figure if you've stuck around this long, you're probably an amateur radio operator. Want to do more stuff like that, maybe even do a sort of a podcast environment talking about some of my adventures in amateur radio. I don't know. Could go anywhere. So, yeah, if you're interested, subscribe. That doesn't hurt anybody. And if you got anything out of this video, would appreciate you pounding that thumbs up video, or the thumbs up icon on the video down below. Appreciate that. So, thanks, everyone. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you got some good information out of this.